Alright, so we're starting with the primary colors, and we've picked out all the colors from this list below, and we started with creating our hue. So we just gently use both the cerulean and true blue to create our blue color, and we're creating the value scale. So as we move further down, remember how I showed you before when we talked about how you hold your pencil to get lighter values. So that might be helpful when doing the ones down here, because if you notice, under each box, that's what color you're going to add. So to make the lightest value of our blue, we're going to look here and find our cerulean blue, and we're going to put a very light, go slower because we want soft, even lines, a very light shade here. And then we're going to take our white and go over it. Oh, I had some white on that already, or something on it. I might need a little bit more. And the white helps smooth it out. So that's my light blue. Okay, so if you have like clouds or a highlight, that's your light blue. The next section is now we're gonna use both. So I'm gonna do one layer, do it in order how it says, that'll help you. So first I'm gonna put a light layer of my cerulean blue, then a light layer of my true blue, and then I'm gonna come back with my white. And the white is going to smooth it out. So we're increasing as we go, the ratio of how much pencil we're using. Then the third box, we're using the same three colors, but we're going to be increasing the pressure to make it darker. So I'm going to start with my cerulean blue first. Then I'm going to start with, or add my cerulean, and I push down a little bit more. I don't want it to be as dark as the color next to it. And then I'm going to add white again. So you should see the subtle progression from light to dark. If you want to make any of it a little bit darker, you sure can. If you want to go back and add a little bit more of the blue. But the white is what, if you notice, the white is very waxy, and the white smooths it out. Okay? So if you notice, you get smooth, even transitions. Everybody should have smooth transitions. So now we're going to move to the toning. And we're going to always put cool colors underneath first. And the cool colors basically will help us make our color richer. So we're using the cool colors, which are a combination of greens, blues, and violets. Those are cool colors on the color wheel. So we're going to start with our Parma Violet first, a light. And we're going to try to get smooth, even lines. Our light Parma. Then we want to add the two blues that we use for our hue, which is our base color. So I have my cerulean and my true blue. And I can add a little bit more Parma. Okay, so it's going to get a little cooler. So I added that violet into it. You could even, you keep adding those layers if you want, but whatever you lay on top, you always want to finish with that blue on top, okay? So it's increasing in darkness, but it also has some coolness to it. So your colors should be even. The next one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with our Parma. We want a light coat. This time we're going to add the violet, the dark violet. So after the Parma, I'm going to put a layer of my dark violet. Then I'm going to go back to my cerulean blue. And finally, my true blue. And the last one is my indigo blue. So this would be good to use for if you were doing like a dark shadow in the cloud, or if you had your characters wearing jeans. You know, it's getting darker. I'm going to bump those up a little bit more. And then the final one, we're going to be using all of it. We're going to start with the violet first. This would be good for like if an eggplant or grapes. So we're going to start with the violet first, then the cerulean blue, then the true blue, then the indigo blue. You don't want to push down all the way as you're going. You're slowly increasing it as you go because it creates that waxiness. And then the green. And notice how it doesn't look green. We're not using black at all to make our colors darker. We're combining the colors together. So there you should have a perfect value scale from light blue to dark blue without using any black. And like I said before, you are lucky that we splurged and I got you a kit of 48. So if you notice in your kit, there are more options of blues and violets and greens that you could incorporate. So you can always practice that. But this is a solid way that you can make your light blue to dark blue. So if you were doing clouds, jeans, anything like that. So as you are drawing, you want to keep in mind this is how you're going to get those effects. We're going to move now to the red. So start collecting those colors. You're going to need, remember, to find the colors, you look here at the bottom list. So we're going to look for white, crimson red, poppy red, and this is all just to help get you a base. Like I said, you'll be able to mix and experiment with colors as you go. But the whole idea is that they want you, get in the habit of always layering your colors. You're going to get better effects when you layer your colors. So we need crimson red, poppy red, Parma violet, which is that same violet we used before, grass green, which we haven't used yet. Also a true grass green. Crimson red, we have that. Violet, which we just used. So the dark purple, dark violet. And then violet blue. Violet blue is like a blue and violet combination. And the dark green again. We need dark green. Alrighty. So same thing we're going to do. We always want to start with our base hue, which is the combination of crimson red and the poppy. So we're going to put down our crimson first, then we're going to put down our poppy. Okay? When you press down hard, that wax layer forms and it won't get any darker. So that's why we're going to be adding the colors underneath to create that tone to make it darker. And then we're going to add white, more white. We increase the white as we go to the left because that adds our, that creates the tint for our color. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start with, remember, holding your pencil a little bit differently if you need to. We're going to start with laying down the crimson red lightly, because we want our lightest tint of red in that first box. Barely any color. Just go slower, because we don't want any scratchy lines. We just want a little soft glow of that red. Then we're going to take our white. I would wipe it off with your finger, because it might have some blue in it, and that will change the waxiness. And then we're going to take our white and go straight evenly down, and we're going to get our lightest tint of that red combination. The next box, we're just going to increase. Remember, we're bearing down more, and we're increasing the percentage of red that we're applying to the box. And then add the red, white to smooth your layer down. Okay? So, light to the final color. You can always increase the darkness. I'm coming back in with my red after I added that white. I want to bump it up a little bit more. Now we're going to go to the right, and we're going to first lay our cool colors down. We also added green, which is the complement. And so complement means, on the color wheel, any color that is across from your color on the color wheel is called its complement. So they look good together, but they also work together. When you combine them, they tone your color down without adding black. So it's going to make it darker, and it usually makes neutral colors. So when we combine red and green together, they typically will make gray. So you got to be really careful about laying too much. So we're going to start with our Parma Violet first. If your pencil gets dull, I would go ahead and sharpen it. Make sure you keep your pencil sharp. Then we're going to add our grass green. Remember, we're doing light colors. We don't want to push down too hard. It's just like when you go on a first date. You know, you just take it slow. If you rush things, you can get in trouble. So same thing here. You're going to go slow. So doing crimson red now. So see how it's already a darker red. I haven't added any black. We just laid down the green and the violet first. So it looks like this would be good if you're doing bricks, or if we were doing an apple and you wanted to make your the red rich. This is what you would add. Green, or if you started to get a shadow, green and violet underneath. You could add other colors too. Like I said, once we start going and working and you have your own projects, you'll be able to experiment and mix colors and see what you get. I always recommend doing experimenting on paper like this before you put it on your final paper too. So if you want to see what other colors look like, you can certainly do that. So we're going to keep moving. Lay down the Parma Violet first. Remember, always go slow, small ratio. Now we're going to add the violet this time, the dark violet, so it's going to start to increase the darkness. Then we're going to move to our grass green, which is the lighter green in our combination. And then our two main colors, so crimson red first. And then finally our poppy red. Then the final one, we're going to put all those colors. So start with the violet, the dark violet first. Then our violet blue, which is the cooler purple. Really pretty. Dark green. And then our final two reds, which is the crimson and the poppy. So we always want to overlap our hue last because that is our final layer. There we go. So now we should have our even, our value from red from light to dark red without using black. Remember the key here, most drawing instructors will take the black pencil out. I'm not going to do that to you. You can still use black if you want, but it kills your color. You're going to get better, richer color by using combinations instead of going straight to black. Black will just make it flat. The last one is the most difficult one, and that is the yellows. Let's start selecting our yellows. So you're going to need your base color first, which is canary yellow, and Spanish orange. Canary yellow, goldenrod, Spanish orange, need my white, my Parma violet again, that light violet, violet again. Notice we're using a lot of the same colors. These are good colors to always use. All right, so these are our colors for our final primary color. The three colors that create all the colors in the color wheel. And we're going to establish our hue first by using our canary yellow first. Then our Spanish orange. There is our yellow. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to take our canary yellow, put a light shade here. Then we can do the same thing here, but increase it a little bit as we go. Show you a different way of working. So you can kind of do the value scale with your pencil first if you want. This is how when I'm doing, like if I was doing a lemon on my still life, this is probably what I would do right here. Light to dark. Then I'll come back with my Spanish orange, and I'm going to put a little bit of that on top of my yellow. Then slowly increase it. And then I'm going to take my white. Remember, wipe it off a little bit. If it has a red, it'll turn your color orange. Or take your sharpener. Remember, when you're sharpening, don't push down. You just put the pencil in and then twist it with your fingertips. The sharpener does all the work for you. Now I'm going to seal the deal with my white. Okay? So I have my light yellow to my hue. And now the final step, I'm going to get my Parma Violet. You want to be really careful because if you notice, yellow is the most transparent, which means see-through than the other colors. So we want to be careful and limit light, cool of the purple, which is also the complement, because if we put too much, it's going to turn gray. So just a light layer of your Parma Violet. Be very gentle, go a little bit slower. When working with this, sometimes to get better results, you have to work lighter, and patience is key. Spanish orange. Canary yellow and goldenrod left. All right. Next one again. Start with Parma Violet. Remember, light. Light coat. Because we're also adding the violet. So be careful not to go too dark. Then canary yellow. If you do too much too, it could look like, a little bit like caca too, so you want to be careful. No, we don't want caca. We want a dark yellow, dark orange. All right, and then the final one, we do the Parma Violet and the violet again. We're just going a little bit darker this time. And then we're going to do the 3 yellows. We might have to go back and add some more of that violet in to make that last section darker, which I do. So see how I can go back over that color and make it darker? There we go. So there you go. There's the 3 primary colors. Adding white to tint it. Always starting with the hue first. Remember, hue means color. And then we add our cool colors underneath. Our local hue to get more dimension and richer colors. Okay? Make sure you put your names on these because you want to hold on to them. You don't want to throw these away. And we're going to move on to the second part because I consolidated it. Usually we do the secondary colors. We started with the primary, so I'm going to do